This is called In the Company of Them. It was written after the second invasion of Iraq and before the collapse of the dollar. In the Company of Them. So I'm sitting here in San Fran in another used bookstore in another funny block in this funny curvy town, and I'm browsing through the bookstore and I'm looking through the comics. There are shelves of graphic novels, and I think they must be recent from the flashy, well-done covers and the hip homo technique. So I grab some graphic novels and I'm sitting on the benches and I'm getting up and walk around and find a comfy chair. So I lean back and I'm comfy and I open up the comics, which are trendy, which are clever, which have lots of lit techniques. There's this one with a stone giant who starts out as a hero. He might be old King David or George Washington Carver, and he bests the evil villain who was belittling his race. But now he's getting bigger, and he just keeps getting bigger, and pretty soon he's enslaved all the creatures all around. The metaphor was obvious, though the subject imprecise. He might have been Israel or maybe Nashville, Tennessee, but the book was tortured, troubled, and so exquisitely drawn. The artist must have worked as long as Karen Hughes been ugly. It was $28. US. Dollars. With proceeds going to charity. And I'm looking at these novels, and I'm looking at the shelves, because there's dozens of these comics, dozens of these graphic novels, because there's dozens of these artists, dozens of angry, tortured artists who sort of kind of make it in the graphic novel world. But if you walk down through the Mission, past the chicken hawks and junkies, you'll find hundreds of these artists who will never, ever make it, though it's hard to see the difference between the published and the losers, because every artist's screaming, every artist's fucking screaming, every artist wants to warn us of the evil that we do. They're all warning, and they're screaming, and they're bringing up the issues with their hip homo devices and their so unique techniques. And besides 100 artists, there's 1,000 folk musicians with their lyrics tried and tested, and the chords so true and blue. And besides 1,000 singers, there's 1,000,000 sock drawer poets who put down their San Fran paintbrush to warn of what will happen, to warn the world of what will happen if we let a madman rule us, if we let the wealthy lead us, if we sign away our neighbors for another cup of Starbucks. And the artists are all drawing, and the folkies are all singing, and the poets all recite their angry lines at open mics. But there's no one really listening. No, there's no one really listening, and the few who clap politely never do a goddamn thing. But their days are getting hotter, and our lives are getting shorter, and the Fertile Crescent won't be fertile for another 4 billion years. While MSN reports on Fox News, CNN reports on Slate, CBS reports on Sharpton, and now Sharpton studies Fox. While the talking heads keep talking, and the bloggers keep on blogging, and the artists keep pretending there is something left to say.